What's up, guys? It's James from James Reptiles, and today I'm going to be talking about why reptile breeders get such bad reputations. So to start out, I want to say I am a reptile breeder. I currently breed crested geckos, African fat tails. I'm working with leopards, mice, rats, superworms, duvia, and I'm trying a bunch of other stuff. But I started out just as a hobbyist, like most people do, where I have one of everything, or I'm trying to get one of everything. I'm trying to have a bunch of different unique pets. But as I do that, I find that there's certain ones I like more, there's certain ones I want more of, and I want the different colors and the different pattern types, and I want multiples, I want pairs, and there's some I don't like as much. And the thought of making your own babies out of the reptiles is really an awesome idea, because you don't have to go out and spend it. You can make it, you can produce it, you can do all the work and get it yourself. And I think a lot of people buy animals, but they don't agree with breeding them, which is kind of hypocritical. If you take someone like Brian Barczyk, he breeds thousands of snakes, thousands of geckos, year-round. And a lot of people hate on him because of how he keeps his snakes and how he breeds his snakes, or how he plays around with his snakes. And like, I've said some hate on Brian Barczyk at some point. I'm sure of it. But to be honest with you, he's doing what everyone else in the industry is doing. Is you're breeding reptiles and you're making a living off of it, the snakes are going to be quote unquote not cared for. And that doesn't mean no one's feeding them, no one's watering, no one's checking on them. That means there are people on Facebook who are Facebook warriors who say that bedding's not good enough, that tub's not big enough, that snake's going to die in that tub. In reality, it's not. The guy's got thousands of tubs filled with those snakes, and he's been doing it for years. I get people on Facebook who say minimum for a single adult leopard gecko is a 20-gallon tank. I've seen reptile breeders who keep them in a quarter the size of a shoebox with a food and a water dish and no hide on sand. And those are some of the biggest breeders in the world. They're doing it, they're selling them at pet stores, and there's no problem with it. The geckos don't get impacted, they're not scared because there's no hide. There's nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't recommend it because your geckos can get lethargic. I like to give mine a little bit more room. But a lot of people have this stigma that if you breed reptiles, you take care of your reptiles very poorly. And I just want to clarify that not everyone does that. Yes, there are some people who keep them in tubs, and they're real bad people, and they raise up sick, unhealthy animals to try to sell or even to breed for next year. Of course there are people like that, but that doesn't mean everyone's doing that. And one of the misconceptions I noticed is that when people buy geckos, they always think they're rescuing it. They're like, oh, I bought it from this breeder, and this breeder was taking such bad care of it. That's just how breeders take care of it. There's a certain point you have to cross where you can't spend as much money as someone keeping it as a pet to breed it, because it just wouldn't be worth it. Say if I kept my leopard geckos in bioactive 40 gallons for a single gecko, and it cost me $200 a year to replace light bulbs and to add plants and fertilizer and everything. I'm going to produce 10 babies out of it if I can find the eggs in the enclosure. And what do I have to sell those for to make $1? You know, $300 for like 5 normal geckos? That's absurd. Normals go for like, you can get them as cheap as like $14. It's just insane that people don't understand and they're not willing to do the research. They just believe everything they hear. And I think a lot of people are getting upset because they don't understand that that's what you have to do. it's part of the industry. If you like fashion, there's people who are getting paid minimum wage to make your fashion clothes. It's just part of the way it goes. There are sheep that are being shaved in the winter and they're cold. It's not saying that it's the best option. It's not saying that it's a perfect option, but they're going to do the best option for their animals because they want their animals to live. They want them to thrive so that they can breed them next year. They're not going to put them in poor conditions. That wouldn't make sense because then the geckos would die and their breeding stock would plummet. So this is just going to be a short little part on why I think breeding is important and why people overreact when they see conditions that breeders keep their animals in. And of course, your enclosures are going to get dirtier than a regular person's because you're spending more time with more animals or less time with all your animals because you have more to take care of. And that's just part of it. It's just the way it goes. I don't know how long this clip is, but I'm going to show you a bunch of my animals and it'll end up being roughly 10 minutes. But this is just kind of like an educational of breeding, and it's a look on the inside. Some of the things that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but it just needs to, because if it doesn't get talked about, people who aren't in the breeding operation, they don't understand. So I'm talking about it. Hopefully someone takes something away from this and understands that it's just something that has to happen. And it's not as bad as people make it seem. But I'm going to show you fat tails, some leopards, and some crested, maybe even some snakes. That'd be cool. I don't usually show my snakes on the video just because they're colubrids and they like to run away or slither away. So I'll shoot you over there and we'll have some fun with that. Alright, so first up we're going to start with lefty and righty. This is just going to be a little checkup on them because they're my favorite. I posted righty on Instagram this morning. Well, I tried to post righty on Instagram this morning. Instagram was broken, so I posted righty about an hour ago. But they're getting really big. I'm thinking about breeding them with my normal or getting another tug snow. I understand that it wouldn't be, that some people might disagree with it because of the hands, but I've seen geckos with less hands produce eggs just fine without a problem. So we'll see what happens this coming year, but that's definitely a possibility. Get back in there. And then the last gecko I want to check up on is this girl right there. I don't think she's gonna make it. She's getting skinnier and skinnier every day. I'm finding puke sheds everywhere. She ate one hornworm for me. I tried to assist feed her a dubia the other day, but I can see it actually behind the hide. She spit it up. So I'll probably try again. And then at the end of the day, it is what it is. She was really skinny when I got her, and she already wasn't doing great. But she's starting to lose color, so rip. Unexpected sequence. Shoot, what's her name? Trixie, the blizzard, just laid 2 infertile eggs. I was just looking at her and I knew she was about ready to lay some eggs, but I paired her with my normal just to see what would happen. And 2 infertiles. That's fine. I'll throw them in my bioactive setup and all my little critters can nibble on them and get the good gooey insides. Let's check up on this box. This box has my Lily White, Renus, and Sandra Lee, who are both born this last week. And I fed them some crickets the other day. I fed everyone some crickets the other day. And obviously I still see that one over there. But there's my Lily White Whitey Hooten. He's starting to get a little bit bigger. I noticed crested geckos jump in size when they get to a certain point. And he's definitely right about there. This... he jumped out. This, I believe, is Sandra Lee. If I could catch Sandra Lee. This is Sandra Lee. See that little tail wiggle right there? That means she's getting ready to drop her tail. I better be real careful with her. But she's also running away, so that doesn't make it any easier. And right there, you can catch a glimpse of Renus. Well, you could have caught a glimpse of Renus. Ooh-wee, what is this, male or female? It's my male reverse Ogatee. Super deep in shed. That color looks so cool. I wish it would stay that color. It's like a ghost fat tail almost. They're getting real big, these corns. I can't wait for them to just start exploding inside. I just start taking some frozen thawed hoppers. Actually, he's probably ready. I have a bunch of extra mice left over though. A bunch of pinkies I froze, and I don't have any more baby snakes for a while. So, they'll keep munching on those. I'll keep offering them to them. And I got a couple, ooh, this one looks like it's going in the shed too. I got a couple of them that aren't eating as well. I think this is one of them. This little king snake. He's definitely growing. He's way bigger than he was before, and when I first got him when he wasn't eating. But I'd like to really see him start taking the meals down. This is what I hope to be a female corn. I'll have to make a video soon about popping it before it gets too big, and I'll show you the way I was taught, and we can definitely see if it is a girl or not. But you can see real pretty color on that one. I mean, you can't see now. But hopefully in 2 years, those will be a pair. In here is my dot dash het albino. He's putting a little size on him. Or is this one a she? I don't remember. Anyway, it's getting some size to it. They're all slowly getting there, but they're hitting that point where I know they're going to explode soon, and I just can't wait. And then, of course, my albino eats so well. He's getting huge. I'm going to have to upgrade his tub real soon. I'll probably do that this next paycheck. Just look at that. Bring it into the light. Look at how beautiful that is, dude. That's a gorgeous snake. That pink, purple, lavender color with the yellow. The bright red eyes. Ooh, the camera doesn't do it justice either. It's super contrasting. Someone take a picture, right? These snakes will get fed tomorrow, fed and watered tomorrow, which is 4th of July, and I'll also spot clean them. But that's going to effectively end this video. I'm James from James' Reptiles. Hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, @gmail.com, Facebook, and I'll catch you next time.